Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, October 28th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with NXT Halloween Havoc streamed live last night on Peacock and the WWE Network from the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. In the main event, Trick Williams defeated Ethan Page in 15 minutes and 56 seconds of their Devil's Playground match to retain the NXT Championship. Following the match, Williams was jumped by Page and Ridge Holland until Bubba Ray Dudley ran in to make the save.
And now Ethan Page. Wait!
Oh! Here comes Bubba Ray! Here comes Bubba Ray!
WWE Hall of Famer, Bubba Ray Dudley! He heard enough from Ridge Holland earlier tonight!
He's throwing those big haymakers! He's throwing those big bows! Oh, man!
Dudley was on hand with his busted-open partner Dave LaGreca as part of the broadcast team for the night. Fallon Henley emerged from a four-woman gauntlet match as the new NXT Women's North American Champion, pinning Kalani Jordan in the third and final match. Jordan had previously beaten Jasmine Nix and Jayce Jane in the first two matches of the gauntlet. Following the match, Zarya made her presence felt, appearing in the ring to attack Henley, Nix, and Jane.
Booker! Zarya! Statement made! Indeed! The powerhouse from Australia! Laying waste to Fatal Influence! The landscape indeed has just had a seismic shift in the women's division in NXT.
In the opening match, Tony D'Angelo beat Ova Femi in a tables, ladders, and scares match to retain the NXT North American title. Also on the card, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer defeated Cora Jade and NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, and Ridge Holland topped Andre Chase in an ambulance match. In TNA wrestling news, two injuries occurred during last night's Impact Television taping in Detroit. El Hijo del Vikingo was stretchered out of the arena by EMS after sustaining a legitimate leg injury during his match with Trent Seven. The injury appears to have happened when Vikingo went for a springboard dive but instead landed hard on the floor. The match was immediately stopped and Vikingo was removed. Also at the taping, Chris Bay of ABC was also stretchered out after Bay and Ace Austin's match with the Hardy Boys. Bay was reported to be knocked unconscious during a mistimed cutter attempt from Matt Hardy, in which the two bumped heads. Progress Wrestling presented their Progress Chapter 172 Werewolves of London show from the Electric Ballroom in London. In the opening match, Kenta retained the Defy World title against Cara Noir. Later in the card, Luke Jacobs retained the Progress World title against Manlight DeReese. In the final match of the show, Progress Women's Champion Riho successfully defended the title against Lizzie Evo. The show's only title change took place when Simon Miller beat Paul Robinson to take the Progress Proteus Championship. Also on the card, Progress Tag Team Champions, the Smokin' Aces, were victorious against the Experience. Turning from the United Kingdom to Ireland, WWE's Finn Balor and JD McDonough of Judgment Day made their return to their home country on Saturday, competing in a match at the 10th anniversary show of Irish independent promotion Over the Top Wrestling in Dublin's National Stadium. Balor and McDonough teamed to defeat Matthew Smith and Sean Guinness of the Social Experiment in the main event. Also on the show, Big Damo retained the OTT World title against Rene Dupree, and Raven Creed won the OTT Women's title from Session Moth Martina in a tables match. And taking a look from around Japan over the weekend, New Japan Super Juniors Tag League is underway with Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney leading in one block, and Yo and Rocky Romero leading the other. The tournament resumes today in Tokyo. Jun and Rei Saito held on to the All Japan World Tag Team title in Sapporo on Sunday, turning back the challenge of Cyrus and Harley Jackson. Also yesterday in Tokyo, Mai Sierra defeated Yuna Mizumori to retain Stardom's High Speed title. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, Just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News Podcast, and remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.